Hey folks, and welcome to West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. It's FA Cup, third round, coming up very soon. And Leeds United have been drawn against fellow Yorkshire team Harrogate Town. Leeds have been drawn at home at Ellen Road, and I just thought that I would put out what my first 11 would be if all the following players are fit and available. I think it's important that Leeds rest as many of their players that have played regularly in the Championship this season. Harrogate are 2 divisions below. Leeds are at the top of the Championship. Harrogate are fairly near the bottom of League 2. Can never underestimate them. They do have former Leeds United youngster Josh Falkenham in the midfield. Quite an experienced player at lower league level now. But he'll know what it's about, to play for Leeds, so he'll have a little bit of inside knowledge. Not much, it was a long time ago when Josh Falkenham was part of the Leeds youth setup, but he'll have an idea. So you can't underestimate him. As I say, Yorkshire derby, Harrogate will be well up for it. It's not every day that Harrogate get to come and play at Ellen Road, so it'll be a great day out for them regardless of the result. I'm sure that they'll enjoy it. The manager Simon Weaver will definitely enjoy it, I'm sure. So Leeds will have to be at it if they want to progress to the next round of the Cup. However, I don't think it will require us to play players that have played the majority of games this season. And so, with that in mind, let's make a start on what my first 11 would be if I was choosing the Leeds United lineup to face Harrogate Town. In goal, I would go with Alex Keynes. I know a lot of people will say bring in Caldalo. I have not been impressed with Caldalo on the couple of occasions that he has played for Leeds United in the Cup. Not at all. Alex Keynes knows what it is to play for Leeds United. He came through Leeds' youth ranks 10 years ago. And I just feel it's the right game for Keynes to get a game this season, because he won't get in otherwise. I would say that there's a 99% chance that Caldalo will play, but for me it'd be Alex Keynes. Moving on to right back. If he's fit and available, I would go with Sam Byram. He's a natural right back. Jayden Bogle is seemingly the first choice right back. If Byram's recovered from playing those games that he played recently, Sam goes straight into it. Again, Sam's another one that's come through the Leeds ranks, same time as Keynes pretty much. And again, another experienced player. I think that experience will be important, to do a professional job on Harrogate. And this lineup does have the lineup I'm putting together does have a mixture of experience and youth in it. So, for me it would be Sam Byram. Moving on to left back, I would go with Isaac Schmidt. He's not had a game yet, or certainly not had a start yet, and according to the sources that I've been able to find, he has only mustered 25 minutes of game time this season. How's he going to adapt? How's he going to adapt to playing for Leeds United if he ain't given some kind of a chance? I know he's got to work for it. I know he's got to get fitter. He has had some niggling injuries this season. But if he's fit enough, he starts for me. This is a prime opportunity for Isaac Schmidt to get some game time. At Ellen Road, experience that atmosphere. Again, I think it'll be a sellout crowd. Harrogate will sell all of their allocation, I'm sure. So this is a perfect opportunity to see what Isaac Schmidt can do. So if he's fit and available, Isaac goes in at left back. So this is where it gets a little bit hit and miss. I would take the risk with centre back here. So my number 4 for the day would be James De Bayo. The youngster has come through Leeds' youth academy. He is one of 2 or 3 players that Daniel Farke has singled out for praise and has gotten these players to train with the first team, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for James De Bayo to see if he can handle playing for the first team. We've got to point out it is against lower league opposition, and it's against a team that's struggling in their league. But again, just a really good opportunity to see what De Bayo can do. Partnering James De Bayo, if he's fit and available, it would be Max Verber. Quite experienced for his age, about 25, 26-year-old now is Verber. Austrian international. Can't really get a look in at centre-back due to the form of Pascal Struijk and Joe Rodon. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a chance for Max to play in his natural centre-back position. When he has played for the first team, he's deputised at left-back. So for me, this is a great opportunity. And an experienced head either side of James De Bayo there. I think you've got a good blend of mixture of experience and youth in that defence and goalkeeper there. So the other advantage of using Keynes as well is that most of his experience has come in League One and League Two. He's going to be used to playing against players that Harrogate will have, which again for me is a plus point for going with Keynes over Darlow personally. So yeah, I'd be very content with that back 5. I think that back 5 would do a job, a professional job against Harrogate there. Moving on to midfield. So the first of these for me would be, again if he's fit and available, Charlie Crew. He is another one of the players that has been a standout player from the under-21s, and that Daniel Farke has singled out for praise and persuaded him to train with the first team. Originally signed from Cardiff's under-21s, I believe, or Cardiff's under-18s, I think it was back then, because Crew is still only 17 years old now. I'm not even sure if he's turned 18 yet. But yeah, we got Crew from Cardiff youth team. He's already a full Wales international, and this is a great opportunity to see what he can do. So for me, yep, Charlie gets an opportunity to see what he can do. Partnering Charlie in centre midfield would be Now why has that not worked, I wonder? Oh, it's put Gilavogi on the right wing. Oops. We'll fix that one. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that Gilavogi on the right wing would be the best choice. But in central midfield, without a doubt. Sorry about that. Always happens when you do a live video, doesn't it? So yeah, Joshua Gilavogi, highly experienced, the perfect foil for Charlie Crew to work with in that midfield. I think Joshua is about 33, 34 years old. He's played in a bunch of the top leagues in Europe. We signed him on a free transfer, but you can see why he's been signed. I mean, he was obviously signed as a backup because we lost Gruev and Ampadu to injury. But he's got a very positive, infectious kind of attitude and personality. You can see it. You can see how all the other players love him. So he's quite obviously a really good influence in the dressing room, and this would be a great opportunity for Joshua to get some minutes under his belt, because we know how vital it's going to be to keep the likes of Rothwell, Tanaka, Ampadu and Gruev when he eventually gets back. How important it'll be to get those guys fit, and the only way to keep them fit is to just stick them in the league. So for the cup game, I see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't give Joshua Gilavogi a chance. Again, like Isaac Schmidt, it's a chance for us to see what he can do, and I think he'd be absolutely fine. Honestly, I would possibly. I'm just trying to think here, because all three of Leeds' designated captains would not actually feature in this lineup. So for me, I would possibly even give Joshua the captain's armband. I think that there would be more chance maybe of it going to Verba, with him being a centre back and fairly experienced himself. But yeah, for me, I'd give the captaincy to Josh Gilavogi, I think. Potentially out of the players that I'm putting in this 11 anyway. So moving on to the right wing. Not Josh. He ain't going there. For the right wing, I would play Sam Chambers. Sam is the third youth player that Daniel Farke has singled out for positive praise. Chambers, Crew, De Bayo and Harry Gray all featured in Leeds' friendlies this summer. Well, last summer just gone. And none of them looked out of place. They did alright. So for me, this would be a great opportunity to see what Sam can do if he's fit and available. And you could argue that having Chambers, Crew and De Bayo all on that right hand side, I know the camera's reverse angle, but basically having Chambers, Crew and De Bayo all on that right hand side could be a little risky. They do have the experience of Sam Byram on that side, just to be able to shout some instructions forward and keep guiding them. And as I say, there will be some experience around them, so they're not, it's not a weakened side of the pitch. And if anything, they would bring a lot of energy, a lot of youthful exuberance to the play. whilst on the left hand side, when you see the lineup, it will be a little bit more experienced on that left hand side. And it really depends on the strengths of Harrogate as well. If Harrogate's left hand side is stronger than their right hand side, you'd possibly maybe switch these guys around, swap them so that there's a bit more experience to combat that stronger side of Harrogate. It's all tactical. But yeah, so Sam Chambers come through the youth ranks, looked pretty good. Again, he's very young. He scored a screamer in one of the friendlies. Brilliant goal, really good strike. So definitely one to watch, and he would be my right winger. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'm not going to go straight to the striker. So let's get the left winger in place, and for me, that would be Laji Ramazani. Has looked very decent before he got his injury, and then when he got his injury, he's come back from it, and he's had little fits and starts where he's looked quite good, but he hasn't been the player that he were before his injury. Before his injury, almost undroppable. Very exciting player. Very skillful, very comfortable on the ball, very forward thinking, very attacking. Just what you want from an effective winger. This would be a great opportunity for Largy to get some minutes under his belt, get that match fitness back, because going into the final games of the championship, we're going to need him. We've got the luxury of having 4 very good wingers in James, Solomon, Nonto and Ramazani, and this for me would be the perfect opportunity for Largy to get some minutes under his belt and just to feel that bit match fitter. I think it could cause Harrogate some real problems if he plays. So I would start with Largy. Moving into the 10, if he's still with us by the time we play Harrogate, I would go with Joe Gallagher. He's had barely any opportunities. Played about 9 minutes of football this season, which isn't enough if you're going to try and develop and try and improve your game. He's of an age now where he needs to be playing games, and I mean you can't drop Brendan Aronson at the minute. He's our second best goal involved player. You can't drop that. Not under the current form anyway. And we don't really have a natural number 10 backup anyway. So for me, this is a perfect opportunity for Joe to get some minutes under his belt, get himself in shop window to be loaned out, get a loan move for the rest of the season, and if he gets a good amount of minutes out of this game, there's going to be more chance of him getting that bit more fitter so that teams will want to actually take him on loan. So I think it's a win-win situation. So for me, it would be Joe Gallagher in the 10. And finally, in the 9, if he was fit, this would be a no-brainer for me. It'd be Patrick Bamford. I think he probably misses through injury. Which again is a shame. I think that Patrick Bamford would have been a really good option for this. He scored an absolute belter against Peterborough, and I just think it's slightly off centre. It's hard to tell actually. I don't know if that's any better. Whatever. I think it is actually. Yeah. So for me, if he was fit, it'd be Patrick Bamford. I think this kind of game, you need his experience for this. He leads the line. He has been he has had the captain's armband before now. So if the armband wasn't going to go to Joshua, I'd give it Patrick. But again, when you look at that lineup, you've got experience with the likes of Alex Cairns, Sam Byram, Josh Gillivogie, and Patrick Bamford. Those four really stand out as far as the experience is concerned. Verber as well, he's no mug. He's got enough experience behind him, despite only being about 25, 26. You've got a nice kind of age level on the left-hand side there, with Ramazani and Schmidt being about 23-year-old. And then, as I say, apart from Byram on the right, you've got quite a youthful look to the lineup there with De Bayo, Crew and Chambers. Gallart, he's about 22 now. Again, so there's enough about him there, and I think that lineup has a good balance to it. I really do. I think you've got a good balance of experience and youth there against a team who's struggling in Harrogate. Yes, they'll be up for it. Yes, they'll up their game, but we're going to be on home soil. These players are going to be used to the Ellen Road pitch. Obviously, Leeds play better on better quality pitches. Ellen Road usually has a good quality pitch. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for a lineup like this. If Bamford doesn't play, I'd give it Matteo Joseph. I think he needs a confidence boost. So if Bamford's not fit, it looks like I think it's his hamstring, so he's probably not going to play. He probably won't be fit enough. But if he was, Bamford would be my choice for this one. So yeah, I mean, as far as that's concerned, as I say, Matteo Joseph had come in as the 9 if Patrick Bamford's not fit enough. Good opportunity for Matteo to just get some goals in him, get some confidence back. He's well rested enough. He's not started as many games recently because of the form of Joel Pirro. But I just feel that this lineup's important because the guys that have been playing the league games quite frequently, they need a rest. For whatever reason, their game management has been a little iffy in a couple of games recently. They've not been switched on for the entire game. Giving away free kicks and corners that have allowed the opposition to get in. I just think that this is an opportunity for the other guys that haven't been playing that much to get on that pitch and show what they can do. And maybe play themselves into some kind of contention. The way that Daniel Farker goes about his squad, though, very unlikely. Like all of these 11 here, there's only really Sam Byram, Ladji Ramazani and Patrick Bamford that would really have any chance at all of pushing themselves into contention. And to be honest, lesser so Patrick Bamford now. He's really currently seen as third choice, number 9 now, which is a shame because I still think there's a good player there, but you can't argue with the form of Joel Pirro at the minute. If you give him the ball in the opposition box, he's got a chance of scoring. So, and Patrick's fitness problems are a problem in general. It is. You can't force your way into a lineup if you can't stay fit. So, I mean, just briefly, as far as any subs bench is concerned, it might be a little too soon for Harry Gray to be on the bench because he has only just recently come back from injury. It was a very long injury. He's been out for half a season ever since getting injured in the friendlies. So, it might be too soon for him. He does play as a striker, does Harry Gray. Younger brother of Archie, obviously. Other bench players, I would have Darlow as the backup goalkeeper. Then I'm just looking at the squad list here. I would then I'd have Gruev on the bench if he's anywhere near fit enough to be on it, but I doubt that he will be. So I'd have Ampadu on there on the bench. Solomon, Joseph if he doesn't start. I've heard that Firpo's close to being fit again, so I'd have Firpo on the bench if he is fit enough for it. Dan James, Joel Pirro, Joe Rothwell, Wilfred Nonto, Al Tanaka, Brendan Aronson, Jayden Bogle, Pascal Strout, and Joe Roden. I don't know how many players I've mentioned for the bench, so I've basically just mentioned the entire rest of the squad, really. I don't know how many subs bench spots there are for the FA Cup. It might work differently to the league. But with the squad that we've virtually got 2 players for every position, but the downside is that some of those are injured, and so therefore we do have a little bit of a small squad right now. So you might see 1 or 2 from the under-21s on that bench if these guys that are already from there end up playing in it in the 11. So that is my first 11 and very casual subs bench. As I say, if they're all fit and ready and available, that would be my 11. I have my doubts over the fitness of Bamford. I think he might be out, so therefore Matthew Joseph would come in if needed. But otherwise, I think the rest of them are fit enough as far as I know. Maybe Byram, he might still be knackered from playing quite a few games recently, so just play it safe and put Bogle in there if that was to be the case. But yeah, otherwise I'm happy enough with that lineup. So yep, that's who would start in my first 11 to play Harrogate Town in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Post your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this the kind of lineup that you'd put in, or would you stick to the first 11s that have been playing recently? Would you put Ampadu in again just to get some more fitness minutes in him? Maybe partner Ampadu with Gilavogi, or is that too defensive? Is this the kind of game where Tanaka and Rothwell could shine because they are a little bit more forward thinking? Or do you split those partnerships up and have one defensive and one more attacking? Or do you go with a completely different formation? Do you go with something completely different? I don't know. Daniel Farker doesn't really go with different formations very often. He sometimes makes tactical changes within matches, going from the 4-2-3-1 to something like a more natural 4-3-3, for example. He has done that, or even a 3-5-2 before now. He does occasionally vary it within matches, but very rarely does he start with a different formation. So I don't know, but yeah, put your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this the kind of lineup that you'd play? Do you think that this lineup's good enough to beat Harrogate? I do, personally. I think we've just got too much quality, but you've still got to go out and do a professional job. And if you underestimate Harrogate, you're going to slip on a banana skin. Or in this case, slippy ice, because it's freezing out there. Yeah, what would your 11 be for this match? Are you wanting an FA Cup run? Me personally, I ain't bothered. Not this season. Get back in the Premier League, become an established Premier League team again, then you can start thinking about the 2 cups. But in the meantime, the league for me is a priority, and that's another reason behind me playing the majority of the backup players in the squad. But yeah, do please put your thoughts down below. Please be respectful. You know, it's just my opinion. I don't know anything more or anything less than any other fan. So yeah, be interested to see your lineups down below. And with that in mind, have a great night. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Bye for now.